Hello, happy Sunday, or whatever day this is reaching you where you are. But I'm coming in on Sunday evening for our collective week ahead card pulls. So you can see we've got a spread here to go through because we have a lot of things happening this week, sort of bookends to our week, with the Monday and Friday really being some of the headlines that we're going to speak about here as we tap in for our collective energy using one of our intuitively selected tarot decks this week. We're going to roll with the Magical Creatures Tarot. Last week we used the Northern Animal Tarot. This is the sister deck that I really have been enjoying for all of the month ahead card pulls that we did for the Empowerment Pack. This week for our collective messages, we're going to dip into that enchanting world, which I think is quite appropriate since we have a gateway opening here at the top of the week, the 1111 portal. So Monday marks, and it may be already for you, depending on where you are in the world, the 1111 gateway. And I'm going to talk about that in a few moments, along with some of the energies that you can tap into for this day. We're going to choose a special oracle card as well as an ally for this week to set the tone, starting with Monday. And then as we move through our 5-card spread, we will end with a full moon in Taurus on Friday. So, we start with the 1111 gateway. We end with Friday's full moon in Taurus and Saturn stationing direct. So we're going to, again, talk about those things with the energetic weather this week, but we will tap into the Queen of the Moon Oracle to cap off the week for the full moon, and that will, as always, be the overarching energy coming forward that I will then dive into as a part of the full moon empowerment reading I'm doing this week. So, couple of opportunities for us to connect here. First and foremost, these are collective messages that we're going to be dipping into. As always, you're invited to take what resonates, leave the rest. That's how it works with a collective reading. There's always someone there to pick it up. But if you would like more specific guidance, I do offer a free personal card pull for you that I will send to you on a private polo video where I will pull you your own card from this deck this week. So if you would like one of those, please feel free to quick reply to this video if you're seeing it on Marco Polo, or respond in any way that works for you. Send me a message, etc., and I will pull you a card this week. Also, if you are not already with me for the Empowerment Pack this month, you can join just for the full moon in Taurus with the full moon empowerment reading. So I'll be sharing the link to that here at the end of all the messages, but you can hop on in and experience the full moon reading that we'll be doing, which will include, again, energetic weather, altar elements, a ritual. We'll also be doing a spread that I'll choose with a series of messages to set the tone. And then there's a part 2 where we come in for your personal card pulls. And being that this is really a significant full moon, because there's some things happening on the other side of this full moon, things we'll definitely be talking about next week. With Pluto moving into Aquarius once and for all to stay for the next 20 years, marking a very significant closing of one era, one chapter, and the beginning of a new one. So full moons representing culmination. This is the last full moon before Pluto moves into Aquarius. And full moons are all about what we are releasing and shedding. And yeah, I'm bringing in some of the energies already. This is Archangel Zadkiel on the violet ray for forgiveness and transmutation, because everything that we've been talking about that's coming up to be seen, to be felt, to be integrated or cleared, released, shed, transmuted. It's all happening here, where it culminates into a very earthy, grounded full moon where we can really bring in some of that energy and anchor it in a practical way and apply it into our lives before we pivot to stepping into the new next week with Pluto in Aquarius. So this is a fantastic full moon for you to step in and see what's coming forward for you as best guidance. So that a la carte offering is there, or if you're already with me, it's coming your way this week. So we're going to get started pulling our cards, and I will continue to talk you through all the things. So let's start with choosing an ally for this week. So I shared with the Northern Animal Tarot that last week we had that magic cloak card, which was really cool to weave into the messages. That's in here too. And this deck also has these special cards, these bonus cards that I think are really neat to sort of bring in some added perspective, some symbolism and energies that we can tap into with the way in which some of these messages could be coming forward for us this week. So let's shuffle our little tiny pile here. See what's coming forward this week as an ally that we can work with as we move through the messages that are coming forward. So let's see, one card here. Okay. Ooh, 7 League Boots. I saw this one during the month ahead card pulls. Someone received this one. So we'll feel into that. I'm seeing a compass. I'm seeing a sun and a moon, and of course the raven or crow, which is such a powerful symbol right now for change, for being in the process of change, which is such that can be confusing, chaotic, in the in-between, in the ick. And so in that process, some powerful symbolism coming through there. So we'll tap into that when we get into the messages. Now I want to spray the unicorn unity energy for 7th dimension connection, because I've started to connect in with this 1111 gateway, and I do plan to bring through a special message tomorrow, the actual 1111 gateway day. But I'm bringing in this opening up to the 7th dimension energy, because we really are talking about a portal that has a lot of powerful numerical energy, angel number behind it that you can work with. And I'm going to share a little bit about that in the energetic weather report, and then again tomorrow. So let's, with that energy coming in here, tap in again to the law of positivism. I've really enjoyed this deck. It's gorgeous. The messages are always so powerful and right on point. So we're asking for an oracle card for the 1111 gateway with a message to start us off here as we step into this week collectively and bring forward these messages for us for some insight, guidance, and awareness as we move into this next week in November. So let's see. One card, please, to support these messages. Okay, one card. There we go. Ooh, number 18, beyond my mind. I am consciousness in human form. What a beautiful, beautiful card. And, you know, what I'm feeling right there with this Taurus full moon is, again, this embodiment of the wisdom, the awareness, the everything that's been coming forward in this ethereal, sort of formless way, that we have this opportunity to really focus on this embodiment of our human form. And what does that look like in practice? What does it look like in reality, right? In this tangible way. So we're going to tap into that to set the tone for this gateway. But let us now shuffle up for our week, see what wants to come forward in the way of our 5 tarot cards, where each day of the week is a particular intention around the week. But of course, like any proper storyboard, these cards are not stuck for each day. They work together. Those energies ebb and flow throughout the week. And it's amazing always how many people I hear from that are like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I'm doing. That's just what I did yesterday. Like, that is so on point for me. And same here, like just all the different ways that these energies come forward. And that's really what it's about, because it helps us to step into our week empowered with some guidance, some info, but we greet that with our free will. We greet that with our discernment and our ability to then move through those things with that information, you know? So that's really what I love about it. And I've been trying to share each day a little quickie from, I'll make like a little reel or a story that has a little audio clip about the general meaning of the card that came up for that day, which is really neat because it always kind of bullet point summarizes a lot of the things that in fact we touch on here when we dive into the day-by-day messages. So let's see. Monday sets the tone for the week. So we get that first card from the tarot that sets our tone for the week ahead. 1111 Gateway, Knight of Coins. So a proper earth element coming forward with that Taurian energy of earth, that seed of potential, taking action of some kind, but it's slow and steady. So that is beautiful. And I love that owl up in the corner. So I'm definitely feeling that wisdom coming through, but taking some steps in the direction of, this is such a cute card. Wow, I love that. The tree, all of it. There's an acorn on the shield. If you guys are hearing a lot of like ruckus, my son is playing with my dog just outside of my door, and they're really getting into it. Although my son is not supposed to be running because some of you know from our empowerment pack that my son, he bumped his head playing football this week and has a little concussion. So he's been taking it easy over the weekend and cutting down on screen time, which if you know of an 11-year-old boy, you can imagine that's quite the sacrifice to take time away from the screens, video games and watching of videos, and now today football for him. So all things that he enjoys doing. But it is amazing how they find things to do when they have to unplug. So, okay. Tuesday is a potential block or challenge. A potential block or challenge this week. Let's see what's coming forward for us collectively in the potential block or challenge. Ace of Cups. Wow, beautiful card with that swan and all the fish. Just bringing us back into those Piscean waters of sort of, things that may not be so clear in the emotions that are coming forward, or maybe there's so much coming in that there is an abundance that is challenging to wade through in order to tend to these seeds of potential and feel like, maybe feeling a little waterlogged when it comes to all of the emotions that have been bubbling up, or all of the churning waters that we've been navigating. So we'll see how that comes forward when we dip into that Tuesday energy. And now Wednesday is our midweek blessing. So a midweek blessing for us here this week, Wednesday. The Empress, beautiful, and wow, look at that. That is gorgeous. So we definitely have this Earth Mother archetype coming forward with her little kits there, and a real sense of being that protector energy. So there's something really beautiful about this because, again, Taurus energy is coming in here. So I really do feel that it's sort of like something that we can anchor into, that we can sort of take a little refuge from amidst all of this scorpionic, again, just these layers and everything that we've been sifting through, and this energy of all of the emotional aspects that have been coming forward in, wave after wave, that there's sort of this opportunity for us to kind of have a little respite here is what that feels like. So I'm going to see what we get there when we tune in for Wednesday. Now, Thursday is how we are growing. So how are we growing this week? Collectively, and of course, again, individually, we can feel into if any of these specific days of the week or cards speak to you and you would like a personal card pull, you can always let me know in what area you would like to set an intention around for your card pull too. Okay. We are growing. There is death. There is that scorpionic energy, says not so fast, Taurus. Hanging out here is the Scorpio card of death, rebirth. You know, this is what we're talking about. This is the day before the full moon, the day before Saturn stations direct. And we're talking about picked clean to the bone, you know, shedding these skins of the soul. These are phrases that I've been saying on repeat because this energy keeps coming forward. The Grim Reaper with their scythe, you know, the cutting through the wheat, right? And this sense of clearing out the old in order to create this beautiful opportunity for the new to bloom. And so we really see some movement happening here in this energy. But again, we are protected. And there is a little bit of a sense of, you know, there's a beautiful blessing I feel that's coming forward here. Now, these are two major arcana cards in our week so far. We have one more card to pull for Friday. And so we have this significant energy happening here ahead of this full moon. Card 3 and card 13. And wow, that Grim Reaper kind of has that, the wing of like a crow, you know, like really powerful dark angel type energy there. Okay, Friday is wrapping it all up for us and culminating into this full moon in Taurus. What is coming forward for the Friday full moon in Taurus? What do we need to know here? Ace of Swords. Wow. Okay. So we have two aces on the altar this week. Two aces. Aces are offerings. They're new, fresh energy coming into the scene. And so, yes, there is a flurry of feels happening on the Tuesday, but Thursday we're growing with the clarity that's coming through all of that. One singular sword, which represents truth and directness and really cutting through with great clarity. And I'm seeing that symbol here between these two cards, like really cutting out the old and moving forward with assertion and beautiful energy of the air element then coming in to really bring in some fresh air, some clarity, that's coming in here. So we'll feel into the Friday energy as well. And now we're going to pull our Queen of the Moon card, which again, we are infused with the forgiveness and transmutation Archangel Zadkiel. And let's see what's coming up here from the Queen of the Moon. This, of course, again, will be the focal point of the full moon empowerment reading that I'm offering this week for anyone who wants to come along and join me for part 1, which is usually about an hour, where we dive deep into the energies around the lunation. I provide the ritual, astrological aspects, altar elements. We choose a special spread and deck where I'll pull those cards and bring through messages. And then we break into a part 2 for your personal card pulls. And that's $33 if you want to join, or if you're already with me for the empowerment pack, of course, it's coming your way too. Okay. One card here from the Queen of the Moon for the overarching energy. Oh, there's the void winking at us. Card 1. Which one card's coming forward here from the Queen of the Moon for the full moon in Taurus this week, Friday? Wow, resilience. This is such a powerful card and always speaks to me about what all we have been shouldering and carrying, and the invitation for us to redistribute this load. And, you know, again, we are continually building up energy towards year 9, the year of the Hermit, and the frequency of 9 being about, in part, perseverance, resilience, not giving up, to keep going, that we're nearing culmination, nearing completion of something. And so there's a message here around releasing and shedding again this old in order to create space as we step into this final leg of 2024 and prepare for what we are creating in 2025. And again, I see some threes showing up too, because this is a three energy as card 21. And of course, we have that beautiful Empress card right in the middle of the week as our midweek blessing. Okay, guys, let's get into all of it, because I'm going to be coming in and out with a bunch of clips here now on Marco Polo for the energetic weather and the different aspects that are coming up. And then we will roll into our oracle message for the 1111 gateway and all of our tarot messages and Queen of the Moon as well. So let's get into it. All right, kicking off our energetic weather for this week is the auspicious day of 11/11. So here we bring in the energy of the 11th day of the 11th month, where we say, make a wish on this magical day that unlocks one of the most powerful angel numbers we have. 11/11 has so many sacred and special meanings, but it's essentially a number pattern that indicates we are leveling up. We are on the right track and divinely supported. So you can work with this number code on this day by setting intentions and focusing on all that you wish to manifest. So today, tomorrow, depending on where you are in the world, this 11th day of the 11th month is unlocking that energy. So it's a powerful code of numbers representing total alignment between our mind, body, soul, and the universe. And when you see 11/11 often, it indicates that you are right where you need to be and aligned with the higher divine vision of your life journey. How often do we see 11/11 on the clock, or you may see a recurrence of that number? This is typically what the angel number indicates, is that you are connecting with the universe and that you are divinely supported. So on this day, it's an opportunity for us to work with this number code to consciously bring ourselves into a state of alignment with the divine within. So recognize here that there's no separation between the divine and you. Allow yourself to step into your role as a co-creator of this universe. We don't always have a say on everything that comes our way, but we are all players in this big cosmic picture. We all influence the fabric of reality that we are living through with our vibration, our thoughts, our words, and our actions. So what are you putting out into the universe? 11/11 is also a power day for manifestation. And this is because when we are in a state of complete alignment, we're able to attract what we need with greater ease. So I'll be talking a little more about this energy I'm recording this Sunday evening. So on Monday on the Sharecast, I plan to pop in and dive a little more deeply into this energy, create a post around working with this energy. Of course, we're going to feel into that beautiful oracle card we pulled with this day in mind here in just a few moments. I'm going to finish touching on some of these other astrological aspects this week, and then we will check that out. Okay, so on the other end of this power week, we have two other significant aspects to chat about here on Friday, November 15th, starting here with Saturn stationing direct. So Saturn stations direct after being retrograde since June. And Saturn is known as the Lord of Karma, our master teacher energy. And so when it stations retrograde, we tend to revisit some of the karmic lessons that we've been working with. And so that is something we've been moving through since June. And now on the 15th of November, Saturn now stations direct. So with that happening, it's kind of indicative of our homework being finished so we can reap the rewards. And so we may find ourselves making swift progress on things. I'm feeling even better now about that Ace of Swords coming up for Friday's card. That feels really good then. Cutting through and getting some movement, fresh air, clearing the stagnancy. Homework checked, right? So feeling more motivated to get things done, having a deeper understanding about some of the challenges that we've faced. So this is all coming forward here through this renewed structure and responsibility coming forward. And, you know, that's key, because sometimes having to take responsibility for things means revisiting commitments, strengthening our boundaries, realigning with our goals, looking at the ways in which we were cutting corners. We weren't doing our homework, right? We weren't getting it done. So those areas, you know, maybe have been feeling stalled and stagnant. Like that's what I'm feeling as well, like the stagnancy. And here it's indicated as feeling stalled, could now be gaining some momentum, getting some clarity, direction. So really embrace this disciplined spirit, because this is the time to solidify those foundations, face those challenges head on, and move forward with what's that word? Resilience. We can't make this up. If you forgot or didn't see the card pulls, that's the card that came up for this day from the Queen of the Moon Oracle. So how perfect is that? Definitely feeling the connection between the resilience card for this full moon in Taurus and Saturn stationing direct with that report card coming forward for all of the work that you've done over this retrograde period. So we'll tap into that when we get into our cards as well. Okay, so also happening same day, the November 15th full moon in Taurus. And yes, I said it was earthy and grounded and we're taking these practical steps, but yeah, there is actually also some erratic wild card energy with this full moon, and that's due to the position of Uranus. Uranus likes to shake things in order to awaken things, right? Shake-ups, wake-ups, breakups and makeups, as I like to say. So this may be a confronting full moon where we have to come to terms with some difficult information, or perhaps with all of this shaking, it could be difficult to know where we stand. Neptune is active at this time too. Neptune will bring in that ambiguousness, casting a veil of doubt or confusion. Now, yes, earthy, grounded energy of Taurus is on our side here, which is guiding us to take a methodical and practical approach. So this is really making sense with our Ace of Cups coming up as our potential blocker challenge this week, creating some of those waves with those aspects, because, we do have this opportunity for us to really anchor in, but emotionally, this full moon may have us feeling all over the place. And that wild card energy can feel scattering, but then coming back to nature, taking small methodical steps, these are all things that are helpful. So yes, as this lovely graphic is saying, stability and inner fulfillment coming here to take center stage, urging you to ground yourself, right? And again, Taurus, appreciate life's comforts, nurture what truly matters, because this full moon does illuminate those aspects for us, encouraging us again to release what no longer aligns with your sense of peace and security. And yeah, we're getting turned back within. Embrace your inner strength, because it is time to honor your worth and cultivate a life of abundance. So yeah, we'll be delving into that when we touch on the resilience card and the Friday messages. And again, if you would like to go deeper, this is an excellent full moon to connect in, especially specifically for yourself, to really get some clarity around, what support system you want to bring in to help anchor you in, to embrace your inner strength and really honoring your worth, and cultivate that beautiful seed, these opportunities that are coming forward through the energies that we're about to dive into, starting with that Knight of Pentacles, presenting that Pentacle Earth energy token that's coming in for us to cultivate and nurture into what's coming forward in the next cycle. So let's get into now some of our oracle messages and the ally that we have to kick off our week, and then we'll dive into those tarot cards. All right, let's get our card messages started with the ally for the week, coming forward from the Magical Creatures Tarot that we're working with here, the 7 League Boots. So this is sort of an archetype or an ally for this week to sort of bring in some energy that we're building our messages upon. So the 7 League Boots represents expedition and adventure. Crafted from supple leather, these mystical boots hold the promise of boundless adventure and untold journeys. With each stride, the wearer of the 7 League Boots traverses vast distances, spanning leagues with a single step. Across rugged mountains, verdant valleys, and shimmering seas, they journey with unparalleled swiftness, exploring the farthest reaches of the magical realm. The 7 League Boots symbolize the spirit of exploration and the pursuit of discovery. They represent the seeker's quest for knowledge, wisdom, and new experiences, urging them to venture beyond the familiar confines of their comfort zone and embrace the unknown with courage and curiosity. Yeah, pretty cool, because that's definitely, if I were to tap into these symbols, like I was saying in the card pull, that the crow or raven typically represents change. And there's a frequency of change in the wind. And, you know, as we say, with that energy of the frequency of 5 for change, which brings confusion and some chaos at times, because we're in that in between. Right. And so things are sort of in flux, but we're recalibrating. And I love how there is a compass there showing direction, and the sun and the moon, and just showing these extremes, and then this midpoint in terms of finding our bearings, getting our footing. And yeah, I was getting a little like, these boots are made for walking. These 7 League Boots are made for walking, and that's what I'm gonna do, you know, heading out. And again, there's this physical, tangible connection with Earth this week as we usher in this full moon in Taurus. We have the Empress, we have Pentacles on the altar. We have a lot of Earth energy along with the different aspects that are coming forward. And yeah, it's sort of, there's whimsy and there's magic, and there is this air element that comes in with the crow, that comes in with the swords that we have at the end of the week that we're really tapping into here. But there is this sense of boots on the ground, suiting up and taking these steps, these intentional steps, getting grounded, and taking these steps with, again, from an embodied place. So I really feel that coming in to support us as we begin our journey into the tarot this week for our collective messages. So let's kick things off now. I'll start with the Oracle card for the 1111 Gateway, and we will take it from there. Okay, here we have this absolutely breathtaking card, number 18 from the Law of Positivism, as a special message for Monday, 11/11, for this portal, this gateway, this threshold that we find ourselves on. And I'm really feeling that this card is very connected, and the energies here are very connected to Pluto moving into Aquarius, which is actually happening on the 19th of November. So this 18 feels again like a threshold. It feels like a precipice, because it's representing the energy of just before we move into that place. And there is a leveling up happening here. We infuse the intention for this card with this unicorn unity spray for the 7th dimension. And it definitely holds a lot of the aspects of the age of Aquarius. I'm referring to the channeled words from Amanda Ellis for this spray, which incidentally, I do always post these messages on YouTube. I string them all together into one video. So over on my YouTube channel, if you're seeing this on the Sharecast, I put in the description the link to the different resources and things, and one of them is to Amanda Ellis's channeled words. So if you wanted to see the full channeled words for this spray, and that's the frequency that we've infused here, already sent to you energetically, but just referring to setting the tone here, the Unicorn Unity Spray is about this unified place where all belong, the collective heart of humanity. And it brings in this energy of love sitting in permanent resonance. It's where peace, love, grace, understanding, empathy, listening, respect, tolerance, beauty, and non-judgment exist. So that's setting the tone. It's so Age of Aquarius when we speak in those terms of what we are leveling up to, where humanity is moving. Now we tap into the messages of this card, which says, beyond my mind, I am consciousness in human form. And it asks, have your thoughts led you to forget your divine spark? The limiting nature of our thoughts, which makes sense of the world through our 5 senses, can lead us to think that we can't expand beyond the logical mind, time, or space. If this were true, then how can we explain our ability to envision our future or to dream? These realities go beyond the restrictive nature of our thoughts and allow us to experience infinity within. Now, as I start to read this, I'm reminded and reminding you of the channeled words that I've brought in for this month about transforming rumination to contemplation. And this is exactly what we're discussing when we talk about the limitations of our mind. It says, maybe you've got caught in thought patterns that limit you to this time and space, to your body and the 5 senses. In yogic philosophy, it is said that we live in an illusion created by ourselves through our perception and senses. And the only way to truly experience the source, which we all came from, is through meditation and deep sleep when we are not dreaming. In these states, when we release the physical body, we unite with the One. This consciousness isn't something above us. It is infused in everything and everyone. It is likened to a white movie screen, while life and the human experience are the movies projected onto the screen. When the movie ends, only the screen is left, the highest consciousness. Consciousness can't be observed. It is the observer. It is eternal and non-dual, a constant presence that doesn't change with time and space. Wow. Okay, so I have goosebumps because that really speaks to me. Again, tapping into the energy of this full moon being about embodiment, being about, if I were feeling into the homework assignment that we've been working on from Saturn, our teacher, stationing direct with this full moon in Taurus, we are at this place where, yes, the rumination, the thoughts, the mental limitations and perceptions that have been creating our reality up to this point, we are now being challenged to embody, right? To bring that into the physical body and to act from that place. And so I'm looking at these beautiful 3 triangle or diamonds rather, and feeling this sense of mind, body, spirit, bringing it all into form. So really powerful. There's a mention here of the sacred geometry saying vibration and energy, the womb and the eye of the universe. Quite powerful, being as though we have the Empress, the Earth Mother herself, stationed right in the middle of this week as our midweek blessing. So I'm loving the spiritual breadcrumbs and the synchronicities already flowing here, where we tap into the energy. We come here and you each bring your own unique energy to the table, and we connect in with our higher selves, with universe, spirit, angelic realm, and all. And we bring through these messages, and you can tap into them as big or as little as you wish, as practical and everyday or as woo-woo as you want, right? But this is next level stuff. So I'm really feeling that energy coming in here with this 1111 gateway and the potential that we have to really harness this as we step through, as we find ourselves on the threshold. So some contemplative questions that come with this card before we roll into our messages this week. what am I beyond what I can observe with my five senses? Okay, let me rephrase that because it's not rolling off my tongue. What am I beyond what I can observe with my five senses? So looking at self, what am I? So defining ourselves beyond just what we can perceive with our five senses. These are just for your contemplation. What is that which is observing life through my eyes? How can I deepen my understanding that all that can be observed with my senses are the experience, while I am the experiencer? I like that. So yeah, deepening our understanding that yes, all that I can observe with my senses, and that is what makes up my experience, but I am the experiencer. Interesting. Okay, contemplate that. We are going to come back onto the altar space now to dive into our tarot cards for the week and our Queen of the Moon Oracle message. All right, here we go. We are kicking off our tarot messages for the week with the Monday card, which sets the tone for the week. We have the Knight of Coins coming in, the Knight of Pentacles coming forward with this adorable depiction of a fawn that is presenting that pentacle, that coin, that seed of potential as we move into this week. So let's take a look at the Magical Creatures Tarot message that comes forward in steadfast determination. At the edge of a dense forest where a tree meets the open expanse of fertile fields stands a noble fawn, the embodiment of steadfast determination and practicality. With one hand raised to the sky, he holds a gleaming coin aloft, its surface catching the light and shimmering with promise. His gaze is fixed intently on the coin, as if divining the secrets it holds. The fawn's form is strong and sure, his legs sturdy, and his posture resolute. His curly golden hair dances in the wind, mirroring the rippling waves of wheat that stretch out before him. In his other hand, he cradles a flute, a symbol of creativity and harmony, ready to infuse the land with the magic of his music. Beside the fawn stands a loyal companion, a bright orange fox, its eyes keen and alert. Together, they survey the freshly tilled earth, ready to sow the seeds of new beginnings and nurture the land into abundance. In the distance, beyond the fields, rise majestic blue mountains, a reminder of the vast potential that lies ahead. Leaning against an old tree nearby is the fawn's shield, emblazoned with a symbol of protection and strength. A wise owl rests with the hollow of the tree, its presence a symbol of wisdom and foresight. The fawn's sword, strapped securely around his waist, serves as a reminder of his readiness to defend and protect what he holds dear. In the Knight of Coins, we encounter a figure of unwavering dedication and commitment, willing to put in the hard work and effort required to achieve his goals. He is a symbol of reliability and resourcefulness, embodying the qualities of patience and perseverance as he navigates the journey towards prosperity and success. So if we were keeping a vocabulary list, we have some buzzwords that have been emerging, haven't they? We have perseverance and resilience and embodiment and patience and wisdom and so much more. And so much of it is encapsulated here with the Knight of Coins, which I think is actually a beautiful totem for what we're talking about here. We're talking about moving through this gateway. This again is Monday's energy, the 1111 portal coming forward here with these beautiful messages of going beyond the mind, seeing ourselves as the consciousness that we are in human form. And that is what the suit of the Pentacles brings in, is the embodiment, bringing it down to earth, anchoring it in a tangible, physical way, right? That we have this seed. It's like all of this energy that we've been moving through. Again, the mind, the beliefs, the thought patterns, the level of consciousness that we've been creating and co-creating from, and the emotional waters and everything that we've been wading through, right? All coming up now for us to sort of, as we've been sifting through all of that, to see what comes up. Here we have this coin, this seed, this potential that's coming here in the form of this. And this is the Knights, as the court cards, do represent a youthful energy, a novice energy, being new, but ready, poised to take action. And it's kind of like how we all are as souls at this time, as we're all embarking on a new chapter that we have never been through before, right? So this is new. And yet there is this sense of it just beginning. So, the pentacles, as I say, are the slowest moving suit of the tarot. It's physical, it's tangible, it's earth energy. And that takes time for us to have it show up in the physical. And so here is that first glimmering coin to deposit into that account. And I just love the symbolism of how it's stepping into this week as we then move through the rest of the characters this week and what is coming forward for us collectively, beginning with this. It feels very steady, again, reliable, stable, and secure, and overlighted with wisdom here as we go. And yes, the mountains do show potential, and yet they also show challenge, right? Because ups and downs. And yes, it's not just a straight cakewalk, right? We are having this experience, this human experience in its totality, all of it. And so yes, that is all a part of as we go, as we grow, right, through all of these things. I love how it's referring to the fields being freshly tilled, and then we come to see the death energy, cutting through that wheat and clearing out those fields to create that fertile space for us to plant the new on the other side of that full moon in Taurus. So again, be thinking as we're tapping into these messages, what it is that you wish to bring into this full moon, and what it is that you are releasing and shedding and letting go and clearing out, right? With that sickle, or, the scythe that's cutting through, cutting off that old wheat that has served but is ready to go in order to clear space for the new. So that's starting us off pretty strong as we move into now Tuesday for our potential block or challenge. All right, Tuesday, bringing in a potential block or challenge this week through the beautiful Ace of Cups, where we see this swan and a school of fish all coming up to the surface here. So this is really, again, feeling very indicative, and I assume this is snow, but there's definitely a flurry of emotion coming here, because that is in fact the cups representing the water aspect of the feels, the heart chakra, the emotions. And so as we tune into the Ace of Cups here, it represents new beginnings and emotional renewal, right? But there's some blockage or challenge this week in that arena. So what do we have coming forward? It says, amidst the tranquil beauty of a serene blue lake, the Ace of Cups reemerges as a beacon of new beginnings and emotional renewal. Gliding gracefully across the shimmering surface of the water, a young swan exudes elegance and grace, its pristine white feathers gleaming in the soft light. Hovering just above the waterline, a golden cup radiates with an ethereal glow, casting a gentle luminance upon the tranquil surroundings. The surface of the lake sparkles with myriad reflections, mirroring the shifting hues of the cloudy sky above. As delicate snowflakes drift lazily from the heavens, adding a touch of enchantment to the scene, the lake becomes alive with a sense of purity and wonder. Beneath the surface, a multitude of little fish dart and weave through the crystalline waters, drawn to the radiant allure of the shining cup. In this moment of serene stillness and quiet contemplation, the Ace of Cups invites us to embrace the depths of our emotions and open our hearts to the possibilities of new beginnings. Like the swan gracefully navigating the waters, we are reminded of the beauty that can be found in moments of emotional honesty. We are reminded of the potential for magic and transformation that lies within the depths of our own hearts. With the Ace of Cups as our guide, we embark upon a journey of emotional exploration and discovery, ready to embrace the boundless potential of love, compassion, and trust. So it's a beautiful card, and the Ace of Cups is a lovely message. I mean, all of the aces bring new, fresh energy and offerings, right? And we have 2 of them this week. So, when we encounter a block or a challenge, right, we're working on opening up, right? Opening up to receive that gift in whatever form it comes. If you remember last week, our challenge was the 4 of Pentacles, which is very closed and clinging and holding on. And we had this invitation to open up, right? To see what was available to us when we expand into what's possible. And so the Ace of Cups appears, and it is a blessing, even though it can be challenging. Facing all of those emotions. And another thing I think is interesting is this notion of all of these fish being drawn to the surface and being like attracted to the energy of that golden cup, this opportunity that everybody wants a piece, right? Everybody wants some of that magical goodness. And yet there's an overload of all the emotions and all of the things that are coming up. That another symbol for the swan is transformation. That is actually one of my favorite bird decks. A lot of my associations with different birds, the key words come from my working with this particular bird deck that I have. And I happen to know that the symbolism of the swan is transformation. And, when you think about some of the stories of like the ugly duckling and emerging into the beautiful swan, and this process of transformation, metamorphosis, what we are undergoing and how we are going in, very different coming out. So again, there's so much potentiality here, and yet it is a bit murky because of those cloudy skies, because of this flurry of feels coming down as snow, as it is here. So again, if you are feeling deep in your feels, or if you are feeling challenged in an opportunity for you to communicate your feelings or to bring some clarity there, there is an invitation to be still and contemplate in order to embrace the depths of all those emotions. But again, not from the critical mind, not from a place of ruminating, but actually contemplating, which again, when I have these words that come up and then they get mentioned throughout the month, it's always like ding, ding, ding. Like we're like, we got it. This one flat out saying contemplation, bringing through this energy of transforming from the ruminating, the churning around, the stuck, stagnant energy of just sort of marinating in all of those feels as they are perceived through the critical mind versus the clarity of freshly, and I love actually the symbolism of the freshly fallen snow, perhaps kind of bringing this cooling and this clarity, this purity, a purification to, taking some time. And we'll talk about this with the resilience card as we sift through to see what all's in there that we are transmuting and that we are releasing and shedding and forgiving in order to step into the new on the other side. So it actually is quite a beautiful symbol. If we were going to pick a potential block or challenge, what a lovely one to have, right? So let's go on. I'm super curious about this gorgeous Empress as our Wednesday card for a midweek blessing. Okay, Wednesday, our midweek blessing as this absolutely stunning Empress comes in with her 2 pups. I think I called them kits, which I think are what baby foxes are called. But this is, of course, a gorgeous white wolf. So let's feel into that energy here as a midweek blessing. The Empress, growth, abundance, and creativity. The Empress manifests as a magnificent, wild, white wolf, regal and nurturing, standing proudly at the entrance of her cave, her two pups nearby, embodying the cycles of birth in life. The cave, nestled between two lush hills adorned with vibrant wildflowers, beckons with an aura of mystery and tranquility. Within its depths, the darkness is illuminated by a canopy of stars, creating a celestial sanctuary. Beyond the hills stretches a majestic forest of tall pines, their verdant boughs reaching toward the heavens. The sky above transitions from a deep purple hue to a soft orange glow as the sun begins to ascend, casting a warm embrace upon the land. The white wolf empress symbolizes fertility, generosity, and the nurturing aspects of creation. She embodies the maternal instinct to protect and cultivate safety in all its forms, fostering growth and harmony within her domain. When the white wolf empress graces a reading, it signifies a time of beauty, creativity, and emotional fulfillment. Embrace the caring energy of the empress and allow yourself to connect with the natural rhythms of the world, trusting in the abundance that surrounds you. That's really beautiful. Like I said, not only is this bringing forward for me an energy of Taurus for this full moon that's coming forward here on Friday, the 15th, but it's Earth Mother, it's Earth energy of divine protection. And yes, it's tapping into beauty, creativity, and emotional fulfillment. And I love how many times the word embody and embodiment was used, because like I said, this is such a buzzword about these things, like the stars, in concept, in theory, as something that feels very intangible and up there and out there, and something that we have to sort of, as we talked about in the oracle card for the 1111 gateway, as if it's a place that we have to meditate our way to, or that there's some, very specific ritual or practice that we need to do in order to access it, when actually it's coming right down to earth and embodying it in our day to day. And the 7 league boots wink their way back in here to say that yes, what you are creating at this time and what we are birthing as a collective are like these two pups coming forward as a physical form to resemble, this energy of what is possible, what we are creating, these cycles of birth in life. And yes, that includes death, right? So it's all right here. And again, these two major arcana cards coming right in here at this precipice and this pivotal time as we move from here on. We're talking about ending these cycles, culminating these energies when it comes to this full moon in Taurus, which, like I said, yes, there is a bit of instability and shake up energy that comes in with some of the other aspects. And then moving into next week with the 19th, Pluto in Aquarius. So major shifts taking place, but bringing it down to earth in the most practical ways of how you are contributing to birthing that new just through your day to day and the ways in which you connect with earth, with all of this energy of whether it be your spiritual garden and what you are nurturing within it, what you are putting your energy and intention into to grow. And again, it brings us full circle to really think about, what am I bringing? What's my contribution? Knight of Coins. What's my contribution? Dragging this big old basket full of old stuff, that we have an opportunity now to sort through and do some clearing. Do some cuts, and really be very conscientious about what we want to bring to the table, what we're contributing in the way of the new and what's coming on the other side of this, which, by the way, and like I said, I don't know if this shows up, but it really is beautiful. So yeah, what I've been doing is I'll take a picture of these cards and just have this singular image on the day of the week that they came up for with a little overlight, blurb about the card from an Audible bite that I like to use for the stories that I create each day. So you'll get to see a close-up of each of these cards, but I just saw this beautiful yellow path of flowers here that are kind of just emerging from the cave and then coming around the corner. So there's really this sense of like what we are creating and co-creating and what we are endeavoring to birth into the new coming through this beautiful Empress. Now we'll move to our second major arcana card for the week with the Thursday energy. Now we have Thursday's energy coming in as how we are growing with Major Arcana card 13, the Death card, the card of death and rebirth. And yes, it is the Scorpio card of the tarot as we are in Scorpio season. Quite appropriate that this energy comes forward just before the full moon in Taurus. So death, the harbinger of change. In the card of death, a winged grim reaper stands stoically atop a dirt path, flanked by golden wheat fields on one side and clusters of white daisies on the other. The wind sweeps through the fields, carrying with it the whispers of transformation. The golden wheat, once vibrant and abundant, now lays in swaths, harvested by the scythe of death. Petals of the daisies dance in the air, playful yet touched by the solemnness of the moment. Against the canvas of the sky, painted in hues of pink and purple by the setting sun, death's outline cuts a stark contrast, yet amidst the winds of change and the fading light, there is a sense of peace and acceptance in death's presence. He stands as the eternal reminder of this cycle of life and death, ushering in transformation and renewal. In death's embrace, there is the promise of new beginnings and the release of old burdens. It is a card of profound change and transition, inviting us to surrender to the natural flow of life and embrace the transformative power of letting go. Yeah, it's really such a perfect card here, how we are growing into this full moon in Taurus. And it's like, what I'm feeling is like, we're ready. Like, we're ready. It's enough already of, it's like you feel this sense of it has to change from here, right? So there's this sense of the wheat is really such a symbol of, of abundance and of growth and having like a hearty ability to nourish and nurture and all the things, but it's like it's already been picked over and it's served its time and there's something new on the horizon, but we have to create space for it by clearing out and cutting out all of the dead wheat, this aspect of what has dried, what has passed, what is no longer serving and hasn't been perhaps for some time. So let's bring this into each of our lives when we're talking about what all we're unpacking, what all we want to clear out before we step into the new. It's going to be a beautiful segue into the perfect energies that came forward for us for Friday in the tarot and from the Queen of the Moon. This energy of cutting through with clarity, directness, with truth, with authority, with resilience for what's got to go, what we are no longer going to carry, and then what we wish to bloom into the future, into the new, with the symbolism of those daisies coming forward. And you can see it literally said winds of change, which is something we talked about when we tapped into the 7 league boots. These boots were made for walking, and that's just what they'll do, right? As we bring in that song, the energy of walking right over these aspects that we are clearing out in order to create the new. The winds of change and moving in that direction, moving in a future-focused direction that is, yes, informed by the past. We have learned through all of those experiences, and we're, when we talk about when we transmute something, which is an energy that we brought in here with the Archangel Zadkiel and the Violet Ray when we were asking for energies around this full moon in the card pull, is it changes form. So something like the wheat that as it's cut down, it creates this fertile soil to grow something new again. And so it's a transformation, a transmutation, but in the sense of what are we leaving behind? What are we allowing to change form and then take forward with us? And so it brings us to then, through that process of death and rebirth, a new beginning on the other side, which is that Ace of Swords that's representing the full moon and Saturn stationing direct on Friday. So let's take a look now at that card. All right, finally Friday, we move into that full moon in Taurus with this beautiful Ace of Swords. Another ace for the week, ushering in the new beginnings on the other side, right? So the Ace of Swords, new beginnings and mental clarity. So remember, we had the Ace of Cups as our potential block or challenge this week, new beginnings and emotional renewal. Now we move into the air element of the swords and mental clarity. In the tranquil embrace of nature, amidst the vibrant hues of wild flowers and tall grass, a newborn unicorn emerges, its delicate form taking shape as it transitions from fairy to hoofed creature. Resting beside this magical being, a gleaming sword rises from the earth, its blade pointing skyward as a symbol of clarity and purpose. Above the night sky unfolds its velvety expanse, adorned with the radiant crescent moon casting its ethereal glow. As if in response to the unicorn's awakening, a shooting star streaks across the heavens, illuminating the darkness with its fleeting brilliance. The Ace of Swords heralds a moment of new beginnings and mental clarity, where the mind is sharpened like the blade of a sword, ready to cut through confusion and uncertainty. It represents the clarity of thought and insight that comes with fresh perspectives and the courage to embrace honesty and intuition. Just as the unicorn embarks on its journey of transformation, so too does the seeker encounter the dawn of a new chapter, filled with the promise of intellectual growth, clear vision, and the potential for profound revelations. The Ace of Swords invites us to seize this moment, to harness the power of our intellect, and to embark on a path of discovery and enlightenment. Again, vocabulary buzzwords just going off over here. All of the energies that we tapped into with the unicorn unity energy of the seventh dimension connection coming in with the 1111 gateway, where we said, beyond my mind, I am consciousness in human form. And so we come to this place, this meeting place between the mental and all of the energies that were just described with this Ace of Swords and the embodiment of bringing it into our human form, Taurus, full moon, right? And it's so beautiful because I thought, oh, is that a unicorn? Because it doesn't have a horn. Well, I guess maybe, I don't know if it's just a little tiny one or this is part of its mane, but I thought, oh, I guess it's a white horse, even though I felt unicorn energy. And of course it is, but it's a newborn. So it's novice, it's new, right? And we're developing this new way of thinking and perceiving information and our intellect. So it's so beautiful, the symbolism of perhaps a unicorn has to develop its intellect in order to have that horn as a symbol. And so it feels like, again, on this precipice, this new beginning of this new human consciousness, and I know it's, like I said, these are big messages for these big times because these are very significant energies that we're just, hey, what's a week, right? We're walking through, hey, it's November, it's the 11th, it's the 15th, it's just another day, it's Monday, it's Friday. But every step we take and everything that we're bringing in here, bit by bit, this is all a part of what we are co-creating together. And so there's a clarity that's coming in. And I love that shooting star as well, because again, keeping in mind, but also in practice, that we are co-creating this reality through our thoughts and our beliefs and the energy of intention that we bring. So this is a beautiful opportunity for you in your little corner of the world, right? Where we are, where we say, who am I and what can I do as a baby unicorn to affect anything of any importance in this world? You're everything, right? We are everything. So it's about really stepping into this lunation this week with some intention, with some focus around what am I releasing, shedding, and letting go, especially these old beliefs, these limiting perspectives that I've been carrying around, like this old sack we're about to unpack here for the Queen of the Moon's message. Full moon in Taurus, a beautiful opportunity for you to tap into that. So once again, as we wind down here, the tarot messages for the week with this Friday card, if you would like a free personal card pull for this week, please feel free to respond to this message or send me a note, and I will send you a video recorded polo here of your card pull. And if you would really like to go deep and work comprehensively with me, the full moon empowerment reading is available this week. I will be working on connecting in for part 1. I'm working on putting something really special together with some music as a part of that part 1 offering. Again, where we will get into all of the altar elements, the energetic weather, the ritual from Forever Conscious, the spread that I've yet to choose for the decks that we'll be bringing in, and so much more. It's full. It's a lot, but it's amazing because I really feel the more of us that put our energy into it, all of these beautiful things that we can co-create together. So if you'd like to join me for that, I will have the link here for you to book that with me, or if you're already with me for the Empowerment Pack, stay tuned. I will be in touch with that reading this week. Okay, speaking of that reading, we're going to tease on that card that we've just brought through collectively here with the resilience energy, the Queen of the Moon. Let's take a look. All right, so for our final card tonight, as we are feeling into our messages for this week ahead collectively, we tapped into the Queen of the Moon Oracle for an overarching energy for the full moon in Taurus happening on Friday of this week, the 15th of November. And the card we got, I feel, is so perfect, resilience. Card 21, which brings forward a frequency of the number 3, like our Empress that's in the middle of our week as our midweek blessing, also number 3, is the number of creation, co-creation, co-laboration, right? Laboring. And so we have this sense of what has been difficult for us to shoulder, difficult for us to carry, this difficult birthing process that we have been are experiencing collectively, as depicted here through this card of resilience. Now, the mantra with this card says, I am strong and resilient. And it speaks to the notion of making mistakes and how making mistakes builds resilience. And so it talks about learning lessons from the mistakes that we've made, standing strong, recognizing ourselves as an adult, acting with self-responsibility. And so that's interesting because we do have some, again, beginner, novice energy coming in this week through the Knight, through the Aces. These are all like new beginnings, or, in this state of becoming. And here it's like the notion to keep going, right? To have a resilience, a perseverance. These are all these buzzwords that we've been tapping into. And like I said, this is the card that we're going to really dive into with part 1 of the full moon empowerment reading, if you want to come along for that, but just kind of tapping into it as it's come forward here with the tarot messages this week. Really talking about stretching and expanding towards our intentions. And that in that process, we most likely will meet some resistance or make some mistakes or fail altogether, right? Because there's this trial and error that happens when we do something new. It's like that baby unicorn, and it's reminding me of like when a baby, like a horse is born, a little foal, and how their legs are so shaky, and yet they don't waste much time, right? They get up on those legs pretty quickly. And yes, they fall. Yes, they stumble, and there is a sense of, how can they possibly be supported on those little twig legs as they try to get up all clumsily. And this is kind of where we are at collectively, sort of coming through this birthing process and, trying to stand up and trying to step into this new that feels perhaps unfamiliar, that is certainly unknown, that is way outside of anything resembling a comfort zone, so there's this energy of, allowing for that to unfold, recognizing that, yes, we might make mistakes. Yeah, we might fall down. We might find out that something didn't work the way that we saw it working out, how we drew it up. This is where resilience, confidence, and our inner will come into play. And some more questions for contemplation presented by the Queen of the Moon, asking ourselves, how much do we really want what we are going for? Does what we want align with our needs and values? Are we really devoted to having it? Do we think we are enough? Do we have the strength to keep going? So these are all things that are coming up in the face of, in addition to the resilience, I'm feeling resistance, right? Resistance because it's hard. Resistance because it feels like miles to go, right? There can be a sense of the burden. There's a burden energy that comes across in this card. But I'm always drawn into all the things that are coming out of that on her back. And of course, it reminds me of like snakes. And it does feel like, trying to carry all of that with us, where there's this unburdening that can take place if we were to go in and unpack and go through that. And really, again, like with that decisiveness of the scythe, cutting out the dead, what is dead and gone, what is no longer serving, what is ready to transform and be transmuted. And so this is kind of where we find ourselves now, this encouragement for resilience, perseverance, and really tapping into the inner strength and courage and willingness to mess it up, to make a mistake, for it not to go as we drew it up. Right? And so this is all what we'll be building on as we feel into the energies this week. Again, like I said, I'm going to wrap it all up here for all this to set us forward, but I will be popping in on the Sharecast this week with some messages, especially here with the 1111 Gateway, and then into the week with the full moon in Taurus. So once again, thank you so much for being here. If you would like a personal card pull, please feel free to respond and let me know. And also, if you would like to come along for the full moon empowerment reading, I'll be putting some links here for you with that information. Thank you all so much for the beautiful energy that you bring to this space. I appreciate you. I'm sending you much love and many blessings. We'll talk soon.